Hello everyone, I am Super Mario Sonic Lover, and welcome to Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog for, it was originally for the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, but there have been so many re-releases for this thing that it's pretty much for anything now. I'm playing this through Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube, so that's how I'm recording the game right now. And well, I thought this would be a great introduction to the mini LP series, where I basically play for a smaller game than I usually do, like a game that would take around 2 to 3 hours to beat at most. Maybe I'll get into like some longer games for weekends occasionally, but it wouldn't be a main focus. The focus for this series is to, again, find smaller games to play, and you'll be getting an episode for each weekend day. Like, you'll get one for Saturday and you'll get one for Sunday. It doesn't have a set schedule as of yet. At the moment, it's pretty much just going to be uploaded whenever on those days. But enough of my rambling, let's get into this game, shall we? Because I've been wanting to get to move the mic closer, but I've been wanting to get to the classic Sonic titles for a while now. If you've been following C's Brain Comms, you'll know that we've just started Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and we did Sonic 1, 2 and CD. Those were pretty fun to do, but I've always wanted to do these games on my solo channel. I've never really had the chance to do them until now, and it just feels really good to be able to finally get to them, you know? Like, these games are part of my childhood. I grew up with the series since I was little, and I had to do this game at some point. It's pretty much mandatory for me to do. Like, my name is called Super Mario Sonic Lover, so it's pretty much essential that I do the classic Sonic titles eventually. I mean, I did Mario 1 before this game, you know? But yeah. But a bit of my history of this game, I guess I should say, since I did this in the C's Brain run. My history of this game, or Sonic in general, is very, I would say, different from most Sonic fans. Basically, I didn't really start with the games. I was one of those guys that watched Sonic X and the Sonic cartoons as a kid growing. I already screwed up, but I was one of those guys that watched the Sonic cartoons growing up, like Sonic X, Sonic Adventures, Sonic the Hedgehog, and all that. Especially Adventures. That was one that I really enjoyed growing up. It hasn't aged particularly well looking back at it, but it's still I still think it's a nice little like guilty pleasure for me. But yeah, I watched a lot of the shows growing up. I wasn't really a fan of the games until a little bit later. Like, I was a huge fan of Sonic X, and at that point I didn't really play any of the games, but my family played a lot of had a lot of playtime on Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. We used to have a Mega Drive, but unfortunately it broke because my brother tried to see what something was on the back of the system, but in taking the thing he was looking out of the system, it made it break. So I no longer own a Mega Drive. It was before I could even speak, so I don't know too much about that, but basically, everything started with Mean Bean Machine. That was the only game my family had for the longest time, and you know and I pretty much grew up with the cartoons as I grew up and all that. I'm trying to get this live. And it wasn't until much later when we decided to try out Sonic Heroes. It was the first Sonic game I played was either Heroes or Sonic 3D Blast, because I have a copy of that on the PC, and at the time I thought that was the best thing ever, because it was something new to me. It was a different take on the whole platforming genre. It was something that I didn't really see before, so I found it to be really entertaining back then. Like, playing it now, I can obviously see why people don't like it that much. That's a story for another time. I'm gonna get to that game eventually, but you know, I'll save my thoughts on that game as I feel about it now when I actually do it. But that's for a little bit later down the road. Like, I don't know when I'll get to it, but it will come eventually. But before I move on, I should probably talk about these special stages here. Basically, you're in this weird little, whatever you want to call this weird little area, and you basically have to navigate your way through the place to get the emerald. You don't get Super Sonic in this game. That started in Sonic 2. We won't be getting any sort of transformation here, so I just wanted to continue. But yeah, we won't be seeing super forms in this, but it's pretty much just to have a perfect ending. Like, you get a special ending at the end. It's not too rewarding, but hey, it just feels good to get the Chaos Emeralds. But you aren't forced to do it, so it's all good. But yeah, as back to my whole story, my backstory though. I want to say that Sonic 3D Blast was the first game I played. It was either that or Heroes. But then, my sister found out that Mean Bean Machine was on Sonic Mega Collection, the game I'm playing this on now. So we bought it, and I saw all the other games in the collection, like, oh, what's this Sonic 1, what's this Sonic 2 and all that. So I pretty much played all the other games in the collection, and I pretty much just started playing the series, like, pretty much, like, as a crazed Sonic fan, I guess, like I am today. Like, when I was a fan of Sonic, like, growing up. Like, I was a fan of the show. I liked the shows even, but I liked those growing up. I enjoyed Sonic Heroes and 3D Blast back then. Like, I still enjoy 3D Blast today, but that's an entirely different topic. But I wasn't like a huge Sonic fan today, like I am today, until I played through the games in Sonic Mega Collection. Like, as soon as I started playing Sonic 1, I completely sucked at it back then, but I still enjoyed it, and I started playing more of the games. I played Sonic Adventure, Adventure 2, eventually, when it came out, I played 06 as well, but Unleashed, the Wii version anyway. What else? Like, Shadow, because back then I thought that was a good game. And just, in general, I just became a much bigger fan of the series. When I played through the classics. Like, I liked Sonic when I was a kid, but it didn't really start until like that point, you know. But yeah. I am glad that I became a Sonic fan, because to this day it's my favourite franchise. Sonic Team do make mistakes, like look at 06, look at Sonic Chronicles to some extent. Look at Shadow. Like, they clearly do make mistakes here and there, but always stick with them till the very end, because Sonic has always had a special place in my heart, and it would be a shame for the series to go anywhere anytime soon. I'm gonna just like stick around for the ride and just see what happens. I acknowledge the bad points when they happen, but I'm one of those people that enjoy most of the games. Like, again, there are games that I will call out as being kind of bad and like really atrocious here and there. Like, I feel people over-exaggerate a bit about Sonic Labyrinth, but it's still a pretty bad game. I won't deny that. That's pretty much just a fact. Like that game is just flat out bad. My reasonings for why I think that is for whenever I get to that, if that would be anytime soon. I don't know when I'd get to that game, but you know, time will tell. Like, there's a lot of games I want to record, I want to do for the channel, but you know, I can't do them all at once. Like, there's so much stuff I want to cover on this channel, but with the fact that I'm now pretty much a part of 5th gen now, C's Brain is like a big thing that I need to focus on, and all that stuff. It makes it hard. It makes it slightly hard to, or harder, I should say, to like record everything for this channel. Like, I'm recording more than I usually have. Like, recently, I've been recording more than I ever had. Like, possibly even more than back in the day when I recorded like, or uploaded even so many videos, a day, really. Like, I uploaded sometimes 4 or 5 videos. So, yeah, I've been recording possibly more than I have back in the day, and it does feel good doing it again. In my downtime, like when I'm talking to friends, that's when I'm recording stuff for 5th gen or C's Brain. Well, I play games in my own time as well, but not nearly as much as I used to. So I'm either recording for my channel, or I'm like recording something for C's or 5th gen. If I'm not doing that, I'm usually playing Smash or playing a game in my backlog. So yeah. I think Special Stage 3 is just a giant room. We have to get to the middle and hope that you don't fall into the goal, because the goal basically sends you back to sends you to the next stage. So you want to avoid that if you want to get the Chaos Emeralds. I can't guarantee that I'll get them all in this run, but I'll do what I can. Like, I've done it plenty of times before, but you know, if we can get them all, awesome. But if we don't, I'm not gonna complain. Like, I don't really care in the long run. But yeah, I'll do what I can. Though I've never been too fond of like most of the special stages in the series. I like Sonic 3 and Knuckles special stages. Like, some of them can be alright, but I just find them, most of them, more frustrating than fun, but that's just me. Like, I don't outright hate them, but I kind of prefer it when Chaos Emeralds are part of the story, instead of like having like special stages that you have to play. But that's just me again. Like, if they're decently challenging but not unfair, I'm all for it. But you know, I've never been too big on special stages as a whole. But yeah. What though? One funny thing I should mention. Growing up, like, I saw the Sonic X adaptations for, or the adventure adaptations in Sonic X, but back then I didn't know they were adaptations of those games. I always thought they were just for they were just created for Sonic X. I played Adventure and Adventure 2 much later, and I thought that those games were adaptations of Sonic X, and I was like, oh cool, a game like X, this is awesome. Like, I wasn't like too well, like, what's the word? I wasn't really educated in the Sonic universe back then. I kind of just I was young back then, so you can't really blame me for not knowing a lot. But I played Adventure, thought it was Sonic about like I thought it was like based on Sonic X. It was obviously the other way around, but yeah. Like Sonic X, they say it wasn't technically a good show, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. Like it's not technically like I wouldn't classify it as downright bad, but it wasn't technically good either. So you know, like I enjoyed it though, for how as stupid as it was at times. But, you know. Anyways, though, talking a little bit more about the game here. Sonic 1 is basically one of the first games to implement speed speed into a platforming game as a main mechanic. Like, you could go fast in like games before, but back then there wasn't really a game where you had momentum and speed be a main focus. Like, Sonic, the main gimmick with him was that he was like, oh, he had attitude, and he had like really fast speed and whatnot, and that just, it was basically like to rival Mario, like Nintendo's Mario and all that. And you know, it was great back in the day, like how different he was from any regular platformer, because you know, back then most platformers were very Mario-y. Like, you jump on enemies, you collect items to like collect one-ups and whatnot, and you know, that's still in this game. Like, you still collect rings for one-ups, but that's not like a main thing. Like, basically Sonic's gimmick was that speed is a reward. You have to work for your speed in the classics, where rolling down a hill builds up momentum, and you go faster and faster down the hill. You have to learn the layout of the levels so you know how to speed through them a lot much faster, and it encourages multiple playthroughs through the games, because there's so many different pathways you can take in these games that makes it so fun to replay. It makes them all so fun to replay, and it makes you experiment more with like, oh, what pathway's the fastest route to take? How can I get through this area without stopping, and stuff like that. But what some people don't realize is that Sonic isn't always about speed. Again, the whole point of Sonic was to be the fact that he was a platformer that made it so you had the ability to go fast. He was not made to like constantly have you speeding through a level. Like, Sonic Unleashed is a pretty big contradiction to that statement, but that's another topic entirely. I'll get to that in a bit, but in the classic Sonic games, and even Adventure 1 and 2, speed was a reward for you learning the level, like where enemies were, and how the game plays, and that was a pretty big thing back in the day. If you played levels over and over, chances are you'd get better at them. But that wasn't really a game back then that required you to learn the level layouts and like learn different pathways and whatnot in order to like get through the levels faster. Like Marble Zone we're seeing now, as I fell down here like a dumbo, whatever, dummy. You know what I mean, but yeah. Like there are some levels like Marble Zone here where it's more based on platforming than speed, because again, it's not all about speed. There's like like my friend Chase has made a pretty good point about this. Marble Zone's existence is mainly for the fact that it's showing that speed is a thing you can have. You can go fast in these games, but you won't always be going fast. There has to be some kind of balance, otherwise it just isn't really a platformer anymore. And well, while I enjoy Unleashed, it didn't really like, it wasn't really like it didn't really feel like a platformer for the most part. It felt a lot more like a racing game. It had some platforming here and there, but for the most part it was a pretty big boost fest. Like, you can keep boosting. Most of the time, if you kept boosting and you weren't paying attention though, you would get owned, but even still, that game expects you to boost half the time in the day levels. And I don't have a problem with that. Like, going that fast feels very exhilarating, but I feel Sonic works better as a good balance. Like, you have like speed and platforming are the two main factors. Exploration is a good like icing on the cake, like with alternate pathways and whatnot. That encourages multiple playthroughs, and just having good level design in general is a must. Is like a must when it comes to games in general, but Sonic especially, because the levels themselves make the games is what makes the game so fun to play. Like, that's why people love the classic games so much, because the levels are so well executed. There are some people that don't like some levels here and there, but that's expected with pretty much any game. We'll get to one of them after this level, actually, but you know, well, I completely lost my train of thought, but you know, I think I should get over there without getting hit, but yeah. I can't remember what I said. It's just like, oh, I was talking about this and there. I'm such a derp. Eesh. But yeah, but anyway, I keep falling, man. Ish. I should just go the other way. But yeah, classic Sonic has always, or Sonic as a whole has always been to have speed as a reward, and Sonic Unleashed kind of hurt that, because like you were going fast most of the time in that game, and I feel that kind of hurted Sonic in the long run, because a lot of people don't expect to see platforming in a Sonic game. If they aren't seeing Sonic go like at least around the speed of Unleashed, then they're gonna be upset, and I feel that's really dumb, because Sonic has never been about that. Like, sure he's like had the whole gimmick to be fast and all that, but he's a platformer, not a racing game, you know? Like, yeah, Sonic is like the fastest thing alive and all that. But if running like, are you serious right now? Did that really happen? I hate you. Ugh. But yeah, Sonic has never been about that. He has racing games and whatnot, so I just find it silly how people think that Sonic should just be nothing but run, like speed and whatnot.